This is such a good introduction to the rail mechanic. I honestly think this is a better introduction to the rails than the rail track that comes right before this, as these are in a straight line and there's no punishment for falling off of these rails. Well, no extreme punishment anyway. The course is a lot faster if you take these upper rails, and if you fall off, you just go to this bottom layer, which isn't as interesting. And it is just super satisfying to just chain your way across all these rails from one end to the other and just back and forth. And if you do fall off, the game gives you this ramp right here to get back onto the rails. Just super well designed and well thought out. Then the next section, in theming with adding new mechanics each time, adds in the wall jump. Again, this is a really good introduction to the wall riding, which we didn't really see in the last 3 courses in the Mushroom Cup, although it's still skill based. If you're skillful enough, you can stay on the walls the entire time, but this is actually harder than you may expect because of this section right here where you have to really quickly jump off of this wall to go to the next. And again, there are several ways that you can utilize these walls. You don't just have to stick to the same path each time. Then after that, you make your way to the final section where Robo DK is throwing barrels at you left and right, and they're just bouncing all over the place. And these barrels can actually be trickier to dodge than you may think. Like, they're absolutely ginormous and their patterns are kind of erratic. But that's what makes this section so much fun and so intense. Like, it's not like the game ever forces you to get hit by one of these barrels. Like, you can always see where it's gonna go and you can always avoid it. It is super good. Such a good way to end the course, and you just drive right underneath Robo DK's legs to the finish line. Such a phenomenal track. And this goes for pretty much the entire track, but you can actually skip this ending section with the barrels by using these side rails, because if you take these side rails, the barrels can never hit you. However, this is not an instant win button because the track designers were absolutely cooking with this one, and this is all extremely well thought out. Basically, these side rails contain these little ramps on them, which ostensibly act as speed bumps because they send you into the air, and the airtime in Mario Kart World is really slow. So while taking these side rails will just avoid any damage, and you're pretty much entirely safe from everything except other racers. It is a lot slower than taking the riskier route, which is avoiding the barrels. Super clever design, and this goes for every other section too. If a challenge is too difficult, you can just take these side rails to avoid all these barrels. However, you're gonna be going a lot slower than the people who are actually risking it to take these ramps, for instance. And this whole risk-reward factor also ties into these shortcuts here. Since every section in DK Spaceport requires a turn to get to, that means that every single section has a shortcut following it. But said shortcut is actually tricky to take because you have this oil barrel and fire snake, I think, in the way, and both of those are from the classic arcade game as well. Such an ingenious way to bring back old mechanics from the arcade game and tie them into the course and the track design really well. Just as a phenomenal course. What else is there to say? It's a 10 out of 10 perfect track.